travelers! Welcome to another episode of Travel Tuesday. My name is Katie, and I'm your host again this week. This week, we're going to be discussing some tips and tricks for first-time cruisers to help you cruise like a pro. Because that would be ideal if we can all get on our first cruise and know exactly all the tips and tricks to make things run as smoothly as possible. And there are so many tips I can include in this video, but right now I'm just going to include kind of 10 that I think would be important. And maybe I'll have to do another video with even more because there's a lot to know about cruising. So starting off with probably the most important tip I have is you're going to want to arrive at the departure city a day before the cruise embarks. So that means if your ship sets sail on Saturday, you're going to want to be in the city where the ship sails from on Friday. The reason for that is even if your ship sails maybe Saturday afternoon, you think you can take a morning flight, everything will be great. There are always unexpected flight delays, maybe baggage gets delayed. There's always something that could possibly go wrong, so why risk it? Just get to your departure city a day before the ship sails, and then you don't have to worry about missing that ship because I can't imagine a more stressful way to start your cruise vacation than missing the ship on the first day. So don't worry about that. Just get in a day ahead of time, stress-free. Tip number 2 is make sure you do pack necessities in your carry-on. That's more important if you're flying to your city where the cruise is going to be departing from, because worst case scenario, if the airline has issues and you lose some baggage or anything, that way you can have a lot of your necessities with you. You don't have to worry about it. And when you do embark on a ship, a lot of times you will leave your luggage with the cruise line and they will deliver it to your room, but you might not get it for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how busy they are. So you're going to want to have a carry-on with a lot of your important items, like if you take medication or anything like that, because you don't want to be away from that for too long and have to worry about when it's going to be delivered to your room. Next tip, don't stress about forgetting anything on the cruise, but try not to forget anything. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you do forget to pack basic toiletry items, you can definitely purchase them on the ship, but they will be way more expensive than what you can buy on shore. So just try not to forget that toothpaste, because while you can get it on the ship, you don't want to do that. Next tip is don't forget to bring a lanyard if that's your style. And the reason for that is you will get a key card that is basically your lifeline on the ship. You need this key card to access your room, purchase items on board, go to a restaurant, order a drink, reboard the ship after a port day. You need that key card for pretty much everything you do, so you want to make sure you have it with you at all times. And the easiest way to do that is to have a lanyard around your neck with the key card. I know it makes you look like a tourist, but you really don't want to lose that because then people could take your card, they could charge things to it. You don't want to worry about that. Keep it with you, and having it around your neck in a lanyard, stress-free. Next tip is make sure you book tours smartly. When you book an excursion with the cruise line, sometimes you do end up paying more than what you would pay if you were to book that same tour on your own. But the upside to this is that if the tour does end up running late, the ship will not leave you behind. If you book a private tour and it runs late, the ship will leave you behind. So you might save some money booking some tours on your own, but especially if you're booking all-day tours where you're kind of going to be cutting it close to when the ship is going to depart, don't risk it. If you book with the cruise line, they can't leave you. They will delay the ship for you. Don't worry about it. Book wisely. Just book with the cruise line. Make it easy. Next tip is keep your phone in airplane mode while you're on the cruise. Unfortunately, I am speaking a little bit from experience. Even if you have an international phone plan, it likely doesn't cover phone calls while you're over the water. You want to prevent some massive bills by turning your phone on airplane mode and using Wi-Fi to make calls. Because true story, I made a 2-minute phone call while I was having a sea day and I got charged $150 for 2 minutes. So don't do that. Keep the phone on airplane mode, just Wi-Fi. Make sure you get a good internet plan with your cruise package. Next tip is definitely consider travel insurance. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but plans do go wrong sometimes, and when they do, you're really going to want to have insurance. Not all medical insurances will cover you while you travel out of the country. And if you do happen to get sick or have a major flight delay, lose baggage, etc., 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 there are so many scenarios I could go through. You want to be able to feel at ease knowing that you booked travel insurance, and worst case scenario, you don't use it, and that would be great. But if you do need it, it's great having it there, because bills for when you're international, you have to go to the hospital for some reason, that can be really expensive. So just get the travel insurance, make it stress-free. I feel like that's the theme of all my tips, is keep your cruise stress-free. This is vacation. We don't want to add stress. Next tip is pick the best beverage package for what you need. Many cruise lines offer different beverage packages. Some are basic water-only plans. Some are soda plans that you can get like fountain beverages. And then there's the top of the line ones that include all of the best cocktails, unlimited drinks, specialty coffees. There's usually a pretty big range of the drink packages you can get. So be realistic. Consider what type of beverages you plan to consume, how many you're planning on consuming, because while you're on the cruise, you can always pay for each drink individually. But if you're gonna really do some damage to your liver and have 15 drinks a day, you might want to have that beverage package, because it will easily pay for itself if you're gonna be gaming that hard on the cruise. All right, next tip. You are gonna want to avoid the buffet on embarkation day. And I say this because this is the busiest day for the buffet, and it will be packed. It is always packed. Every cruise I've been on, embarkation day, a lot of people don't always eat breakfast in the morning, so when they get on the ship, they're excited to try the food. First place they go is the buffet. And I love the buffet, so many great options. The food is delicious, but maybe you'd want to consider the main dining room instead, especially for the first day, because the buffet is always a madhouse on embarkation day. All right, next and final tip is don't forget the muster drill. If you don't know what this is a required safety drill that teaches passengers about the safe evacuation of the ship in case of emergency. Hopefully you never need to use it, but legally, per maritime law, you do have to complete the muster drill before the ship can depart. If any passengers don't do it, then the ship has to stay docked. Lately, the muster drill has been more virtual due to COVID. That's probably one of the good changes due to COVID, is before you would all have to gather in an auditorium and do it all together. But now you can do it more at your own pace. You can watch a video in your room and make it easy. But don't forget to do it, because the ship won't leave until every passenger has done it. So don't be that person that's the last one to do it. Just get it done, and then you can not forget about it. Keep it in your mind, but don't worry about it. And then you'll be good to go. Good to sail. So these were 10 tips that I think would be helpful for a first-time cruiser. There are so many more tips I can include. Maybe I'll do another video, add another 10 tips, because there are so many. But once again, thank you for joining me for another episode of Travel Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and I would love to see you guys next week. Happy travels!